All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Lucent Truth, and we are the Lucent Truth, starting with above me, Carbon X. Say hello to everyone, Carbon.
Hello.
And right beside me is DJ Dave Darko. Say what's up.
Calm and very friendly. Hello, everyone.
That's your usual craziness. Okay.
Ah.
Right below him is the one and only Johnny Mozzarella. Say what's up.
Hey, what's up?
And right beside him is Matundo83. Say what's up to everybody.
I'm eating dinner.
Okay. And I'm your gracious host, G-Flux the Grand, G-Flux the Great, G-Flux the Magnificent. And today we're going to be doing a couple things. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to watch the trailer for the new Dune movie or the Dune sequel.
Woohoo.
And then after that, we're going to watch some horrible trailers and make fun of them. So first, let's get into some Dune shenanigans here, and let's watch this trailer. Can everybody hear this? Say yes.
This world is beyond cruelty.
Loud and clear.
You've been fighting the Harkonnens for decades. My family's been fighting them for centuries. They were massacred alongside my father.
Your father didn't believe in revenge. We believe in Fremen.
Let me fight beside you.
Reload!
He said I got that. Thanks.
I won't be fighting for him. I'm fighting for my people.
You young pup.
You believe in Paul.
There are signs. The prophet. Why is that a bad thing? Use it.
Because all my visions lead to horror.
Because you lose control.
Because I gain it. Johnny, do you believe in me?
Paul Atreides is still alive.
Deal with this prophet. Show me who you are. Your father. Was a weak man. Look who's back from the dead.
Now do what must be done.
We gave them something to hope for.
That's not hope!
I will love you as long as I breathe.
This prophecy is how they enslave us!
It's not a prophecy. It's a story.
I don't care what you believe. I believe. I am Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis, and the Messiah of God.
He who can destroy a thing has the real control of it.
I will be at the theater.
I must concur. That should look hardcore.
I will be at the theater. Y'all can stay home. I don't care.
Yeah.
I will go.
That should
You
look
just
raw.
have to go alone.
That should
I
look
will be
raw.
sitting on my couch watching it on my 82-inch TV.
Yo, me. It
It
looks
will
like it's gonna
not
be
do
me
it
and Uncle
justice.
Dave. It's gonna be me and Uncle Dave. That shit, I thought that shit was tight.
I was gonna say, hey, if you stay home and watch this movie and you don't catch it in the theater, you will never know the full glory of what it was. Watching it at home can only be secondary to seeing something like that in the theater, man. That's
What
a
are you
beautiful
talking
looking
about?
movie.
What are you talking about?
I-
You ever
now-
sat down in front of the 82-inch TV and let the bask of the glow hit you?
I'll say this.
Wait, like how many inches of the movie screen?
I
About
am-
the 1,000-inch
I am
surround sound.
I am sentimental.
Right, Sam?
I am sentimental to Johnny Mozzarella's point about the first one being a little slow. And the funny thing is that I thought it was a little slow, and it also didn't do enough. I thought it cut too much out. Overall, I still liked it. I liked the movie. I just thought that I thought the first one should have been a little bit more about the political wrangling, almost like some Game of Thrones type of stuff. What is that? Oh, okay. Is that Travis? Hey, what's up, Travis?
Oh, it's Jesus.
I thought it was like, is that person
Oh,
swinging on the cross?
Swinging from the cross.
But I think this.
like the Lord is always welcome here.
Yeah. But I think that this particular the second film, he even said he was like the first film was more contemplative, whereas I thought it should have been more about the politics and the intrigue. But this next one is going to be more action oriented. It's about Paul becoming, you know, living up to the prophecy, and I like the fact that they're dealing with that and how it's fake. It's like you said, it's a story, but you know he's using it to his own ends. But one of my main
Maybe he's fake.
no, I mean it's fake, and I mean they say the story is fake. It's fake. I mean it's kind of like the whole Miles Morales thing. You know, are you gonna write your own destiny, or are you gonna fall in line with what everybody else says?
No,
that you
wait.
should
Now,
not do?
the original Dune, he is the Chizat Satarak.
No, he becomes the Chizat Shadrach, just like Miles Morales has to become Spider-Man.
No, he was bred
No,
by his mother.
no.
What they say with the child that his mother was supposed to have or whatever, supposed to be special or whatever.
No, the child she was supposed to have was a female, and then that girl was supposed to marry the bald albino looking dude in here, and then their child was supposed to be the Chizat Shadrach or whatever. So he takes on the mantle to achieve his ends. But anyway, the last point I was going to make about the
No,
trailer
it's not.
is
That is not. And see, you just contradicted what you just said.
You gotta watch
So-
this damn.
how did I
I gotta read the books
contradict?
again.
How did I contradict what I just said?
Because you said he chose it. So if they didn't do the birthing process, however they did the birthing process, that child was going to be the Chizak Satarak.
I think
so
you're
they
getting
messed up the line.
you're getting confused. This was the Bene Gesserit order. This was a belief that they had, right? That if they did certain genetic selection and manipulating of genes and stuff like that, they could create this super being, right?
Right.
And the point was that Jessica, that's one of the conflicts in the story, is that Jessica was supposed to have a girl, so she disobeyed orders because Duke Atreides wanted a son. She loved him, so
Right.
she gave him a son. So he's not the Kwisatz Haderach. It was supposed to be a girl, and then the offspring between the girl and the bald dude was supposed to be the Kwisatz Haderach. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Because that didn't happen, the child they had became the Chizak Satarak
No.
at birth.
No. That's the whole
Yes.
point of the story. He uses it to gain power. That's the point. That's one of the underlying points of the story. That's why he gets upset with his mother sometimes, because he knows it's just a story. He knows it's fake. He knows it's not really him, but he uses it to his advantage.
Yeah.
How does he get the power to break the earth open without the whaling module? Because he made a choice.
The whaling module is not in the actual books. That's from the old movie. You keep going back to that movie and studying it over and over again.
That's the real deal, man.
Anyway, the last point I was going to make about this,
Crap.
and I'll let other people speak, is it's been known for a while that Christopher Walken was going to play the Emperor. But now, just judging from the trailer, I don't like I don't like where they went with his look, because he looks serious, or he looks more, I shouldn't say serious, he looks more down to
Frail?
earth. He looks down to earth. He looks like an old wise man, whereas I always imagined the Emperor to be kind of like flamboyant, like cunning and intelligent, but flamboyant. And I think that would have been a better route to go, because it would have contrasted him against the Baron and some of the other more serious characters. And then it's Christopher Walken. You figure he's going to play some kind of like crazy whimsical type of whatever, but he just seems like he's playing it how you would expect someone to play an old emperor. So that that was my only thing that I saw in the trailer as far as visually that I didn't like. But overall, everything else I saw, I think it'll be pretty cool.
Can
Travis,
I say something?
hold on? I just want to know, Travis, have you seen the trailer yet?
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah, you muted. You muted, Travis.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? We just watched it. So do me a favor, Travis. Just watch it real quick. Watch it real quick. So
Okay.
yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm tired of Zendaya.
Huh?
I'm tired of Zendaya. I really am.
Okay, I mean, Demetri, sometimes you just come up with the most random.
I'm saying,
like, what is that?
I watched the trailer. I watched the trailer with her in a movie last night. About
no,
tennis movie.
hold on, wait. Before you say it, I give you an example, right? So people have been commenting on our Troy versus Gladiator movie, right, or show, right? So I watched a little bit of it, and then like we're talking about these interesting concepts, and just out of the blue, Demetrius was like, "You know, the little kid in Gladiator." He was like, "Yeah, okay." And we think he's gonna say something profound. He was like, "I hated that kid." It's like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Nah. Let me give you a better example. We be talking about Gladiator and something, and Demetrius be like, "You remember when you was a kid and the mosquito would bite you, it would itch, and your mom would have to put something on there."
It has nothing to do. It's totally random.
And you just be waiting for it to bring it back.
She's an actor in the damn movie, right?
I mean, it's not totally random because she is, in fact, in the movie
Thank you, John.
we just watched.
Thank you, John.
No,
I
I give you that, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, at least if you're gonna say something about it, have it relate to what we're.
Bring it back.
You just don't like it.
John's here and everything.
And that relates to it because it's funny that he said that because I don't know, like you have to watch the movie because it is just a trailer, but you have to watch the movie. But I did not like what I saw from her in the movies as far as like her lines and her delivery and just her look in general. I don't know. She just doesn't seem believable. And that role, I don't know. Even when I was
that's weird because
she
like
just doesn't really look believable.
Maybe her acting, I could see someone saying they don't really care for her acting, but as far as her look, she looks like she would live in a desert. Like she looks like a.
No, what I mean
Just because she looks dusty.
She looks Middle Eastern. No, I was gonna say
I'm assuming
she looks Middle Eastern.
She looks. I don't know. I guess
Middle Eastern, like tan skin.
Like I said, it's just based off of.
She has an exotic look to her.
The trailer.
Yeah,
but
I mean, my father.
Well, her performance wasn't I don't think it was that great in the first one, But she didn't have a lot of lines either. Yeah, so yeah.
But I mean, she's supposed to be but she is going to be a warrior. I'm assuming she's going to be like a warrior. She's going to be, running around.
Well, I mean, she's Fremen. She's Fremen, so all Fremens are warriors. I mean, they have a warrior culture.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. I didn't. Every scene that I saw her in the trailer, I was just like,
yeah.
I'm just not feeling it. But
she was all right in the first one. I don't think she was like she didn't give like an Oscar-winning performance in the first one, but she was all right. I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't see nothing stood out to me that was like, yeah, why is she in here? In fact, everybody in the first movie, I thought they did what they were supposed to do. It wasn't anything that was like just really off.
Well, the thing, I think they casted this movie a lot better than they did the one from the 80s. The one from the 90s is the one that we all watch because that's what we grew up with. But I think they did the casting just right because just looking at the visuals of Baron Harkonnen, like they said, he's supposed to be grotesque and like give off a menacing lore. And I didn't get that from the one in the 80s because the guy who played him, I cannot remember his name to save my life. He was just more whimsical than intimidating.
Yeah.
And Dave Bautista's character, he's supposed to be an idiot, but he's supposed to be a brutal idiot and a simpleton. So I get that.
I think in the books, the Baron is actually supposed to be the kind of like he's supposed to be the one who's bombastic and loud, and because he overdoes everything. He's a glutton. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in the movies, in this movie, they seem to kind of give him more of like a austere type of, kind of more of a serious, menacing presence. But if you watch I think in the old movie and in the 2000 Sci-Fi Channel series, those actors played him as the more bombastic, like Shakespearean, like he's hand gestures and stuff like that, and overstating everything. But this one, I kind of like the more menacing one, I think. But again, if they're gonna do that, I think they should make the Emperor a little bit more on the flamboyant side. Because when you go watch, we see like old images of like the Emperor. He has like these frills and stuff coming off his uniform and stuff. Whereas he just looked like he was wearing a robe in this one. Yeah.
You know who I think would have been a better Emperor, even though I love Christopher Walken in almost everything that he's in, but he already passed away. Christopher Lee, I feel that would be a better Emperor.
Nah, Christopher Lee is too serious. I think. Again, when I go see images of the Emperor, now I don't know. I can't. It's been a while since I read the book, but just from images I've seen, especially Jodorowsky's Dune, he was gonna get Salvador Dali to play the Emperor. So for me, I always imagine him to be kind of like this flamboyant. And the reason why he's flamboyant and somewhat effeminate is because his family's just been in power for so long. He doesn't have to get his hands dirty, so he's just kind of, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of that's the route I would have went. But they went more of a serious old man in a robe type route. Your father was weak. It's like, okay, yeah. I mean, even in the Dune 2000 series, let me bring that real quick. If you look at how he dresses, Dune 2000 series, mini series, Emperor, what's his name? Hadim Shadish something. Padish. Let's see. This right here, I think it's more of a it's more conservative. He has his oh, here we go. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? That's kind of what I had in mind. Something. I mean, these costumes are ridiculous, but he's supposed opulence. He's is the emperor, literally the emperor of the universe.
Well, so you're saying Christopher Lee wouldn't have made a good Emperor, right?
I don't think so. I say he wouldn't have made a good one. I think Christopher Walken is a good choice because he always has kind of like an off-putting, kind of quirky sense to him anyway when you see him in movies. But the way he was directed, maybe I don't think it was right. But to be fair, it's just a trailer. We haven't actually watched the movie yet. So.
May I retort before we move on?
Yeah, go ahead. But other people haven't spoken, so yeah, go ahead.
I know. Emperor Ming, Flash Gordon. You forgot who that was?
That was the guy that played in
Christopher Lee.
That wasn't Christopher Lee. That was that guy from The Exorcist.
No, that's not Max with Max
Van Sydow.
Man, he died too.
You mean Father Merrin?
Yeah.
Merrin.
Man,
I love that movie.
Man, we have lost a lot of good actors, man.
He was old as shit.
I know, but yeah.
See, this is what I had. This is what I had in mind for the Emperor. Big ass fucking turban with a third eye on it. I think he was right for the part. I just maybe they just haven't really shown enough yet either. See this is what I had in mind for the Emperor.
Well,
so in the book, the Emperor's supposed to be like a pushover.
I can't. No, he's not a pushover. He's very smart. He's very cunning. It's just, and I don't even know if he's, flamboyant in the books. I can't remember. I just, from what I've always seen, the way people depict him, they depict him that way. I guess to show that he comes from a pampered life, comes from opulence. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't read the book since I was like in high school. But please, guys, chime in. Give us your thoughts. Travis, you haven't said anything. Carbon X hasn't said anything.
And I've said too much.
I don't have a whole lot to say. I mean, I don't know all about the Doom lore. So, I watched the first movie, but
Yeah, I remember we were watching the teaser. You were like, to be honest, I can't really remember anything from the first movie.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I remember the first movie started off kind of slow. The main thing I remember about was the worms, those blue eyes. That's the two things I remember.
Shame.
My man.
Shame.
My man.
Shame.
It's all right, man. That's all right. Cause some of the movies, man, that we watch, we find, some of the movies we watch, man, we all find a part in it that we're ecstatic about, and nobody else sees it or something like that, man. Let some ninjas be in the background or something. I'll be raving about it. And everybody else is like, who cares?
Or that lame ass vampire movie you had us watch. Oh, it was so
Yeah,
bad.
hey, you about to get chopped.
That shit was so bad, dude. It was
Man.
horrible.
Terrible.
Where's my farting noise on my computer here, man, for you, Brian? Stink, man.
But please, Travis, chime in.
You must speak, Travis.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen. Well,
Don't be
I haven't
scared.
seen the trailer yet.
Oh,
but
okay.
I,
Yeah.
Oh,
but
we thought you blacked out to watch the trailer.
Oh no. But I'm a big fan of the director, so I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Yeah,
Well, one thing I have to say about this whole Doom thing, it's actually one of the rare lores I don't see mine being remade, because back in the 80s they couldn't do what they can do in the 2000s, and in the 2000s they can't do what they're doing now, and it keeps on getting better with time.
Yeah, for a long time it was considered an unfilmable film. In fact, I think might have been Ridley Scott. I can't remember. Someone wanted to make the movie. No, it was a Jodorowsky guy, and the plans for that movie sort of kind of went to make Alien. So at the time, it was considered it's too dense. It's hard to film some of the scenes or portray some of it. That's what they thought at the time. And to do it justice. And I kind of agree with that, because I still think the first Dune movie in this series right here, I liked it, but they left too much out. And that's why I would have preferred if they would have took the money and just made like a really good miniseries, like a really well done, like kind of like on Game of Thrones. I would have preferred that than the new movies. But
Are we get speaking of Game of Thrones, are we supposed to get the next season of House of the Dragon? What is it, next year or this year?
I don't know. Let's try to stay focused though. Stay focused.
I'm just asking.
All right. Anybody else have anything else to say about Dune? I'll take that as a no. All right, we're gonna move on. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next trailer, and I'm gonna go ahead and warn the audience. We're in the horrible trailer section of the podcast. And the first horrible trailer we're gonna watch is Kraven the Hunter. Now, if the audience doesn't know who Kraven is, he is Uncle Dave. Can you mute up for me while I'm speaking? That way I don't get that echo.
Gotcha. Give me a second.
Kraven is actually from the Rogues Gallery of Spider-Man. And I guess because Sony still has the rights to Spider-Man, it also has the rights to all the Spider-Man associated characters, like all his villains and stuff like that. So I personally think the same reason why we got a Venom movie and a Morbius movie, I think this is Sony's way of keeping the rights. Now, I haven't seen their contract or whatever, but I'm assuming it's something like, okay, if you don't do anything with these characters, then the rights might automatically go back to Marvel or whomever owned it before or whatever. So I think they got to pump these movies out just to kind of, keep the franchise. Because who wants to see a Kraven movie? Like, nobody cares. Like, why would I want to see this? Just who wants to see a Morbius movie? Yeah.
And Brian, you are exactly right, because I was listening to a podcast yesterday morning about how Spider-Man makes so much money and so recognizable. If Sony was supposed to lose that, that would be a big chunk. When you really think about it, Sony doesn't really have any other franchises out there that are worth watching.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, so that's why they keep on pumping out and doing reboots. Like the Andrew Garfield movies, only reason why they were made is because Spider-Man 4 wasn't made, and they were going to lose the rights to Spider-Man if they didn't make a movie. So
I was right.
Now that Spider-Man has such a crucial part of the MCU, like they're just trying to keep the rights so they can still negotiate with Marvel. It's not so much us.
I'll say this though. Sony did Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse movies way better than Marvel has done it. Because in my opinion, that last Spider-Man movie was just a lame live-action version of the Spider-Verse movies. Like, it doesn't even do the whole multiverse as well as the Spider-Verse movies. Because that last Spider-Verse movie was hardcore. That junk was so good. Like, to me, that's the proper way to pass the torch.
You didn't like the last Toby. You didn't like the last Tom Holland Spider-Man.
I thought it was okay, but I thought what they were trying to do was done much better in the Spider-Verse movies. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it was like a horrible movie. It's definitely one of the better Marvel movies in a little while now, especially since
That's what I was thinking.
Endgame. But it wasn't. I don't think it was like great either. Like, it wasn't as good as everyone was saying it was. I thought the Spider-Verse movies were much better, both of them.
Yeah.
I agree. The Spider-Verse movies were better, but I mean, it was a good movie. It was a good Spider-Man movie.
Even the way they introduced the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man was very anticlimactic. Like, there's some things they could have done better that I thought that would have brought the movie around and kind of made it more cohesive. I mean, just one day you see a portal and there's Tobey Maguire looking around, and he just walks through the portal. Like, okay, I mean,
like who the hell just walks through a damn portal that's sticking there?
I don't know, I just thought it was kind of so matter of fact. It was like, all right, yeah, but I don't know. I thought it was okay. It was an okay movie. It was definitely one of the better Marvel movies in a while. Definitely better than Ant-Man. But
shame
for what they were trying to do, I thought Into the Spider-Verse did it better, and Across the Spider-Verse just blew that shit out of the park. As far as I'm concerned. But anyway,
and we were having a conversation off camera, and it's just a beautiful movie altogether.
Yeah.
Versus all the other stuff we get.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and watch this trailer so we can laugh at it. But here we go.
Do we have to?
Yes.
My son, never show mercy. They are prey. We are predators. Boys, your mother is dead.
She died because you sent her away.
She was weak, sick in her mind. You know my business, yes? Power is about strength. If you show weakness, you will give our enemies an opening. Shoot. Shoot. He is weak, like his mother. Leave him.
What happened that day?
I stared death in the face, and for the first time, I saw my true self.
Tell me about this hunter.
They say he uses a connection with animals to track his prey. And once you're on his list, there's only one way off.
There's 6 of us, and only one of you.
There's 6 of you now.
Why do you hunt?
My father puts evil into the world. I take it out.
I think you're some kind of honor. You are exactly like our father. Just another man hunting for a trophy.
We're murderers. Isn't that what he taught us?
You don't get to do that to me anymore.
Mr. Taglin? Mr. Taglin? Where's Mr. Taglin?
Oh, you're standing in him.
God.
You're a goddamn lunatic.
Oh, you just figured that out now?
There is an animal in each one of us.
Don't you want to know why they call me the Rhino?
All right.
All right. Let's start first. Can I please let me start first, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Like this brutality for shock value, and then they prove brutality for cinematic value, and that's just for shock value. One, two. Why? Just why? The guy who plays him, I've seen him in decent movies, and like the trailer just turns me off. Like,
wasn't he got to play Quicksilver?
Quicksilver, he was Kick Ass.
Kick Ass, yeah.
Kick Ass. He was in something else. Godzilla was in that. It's just a waste of talent, to be honest with you, and a waste of it's a money grab. It's a money grab. It's not going to do anything in theaters. It's just going to sit there and, well, we're going to try to tie everything with Spider-Man. And the biggest thing is he's supposed to be a villain. And you're saying the first thing that they already ruined it. He's supposed to be one of Spider-Man's rogue gallery. He's saying he's supposed to be putting good into the world. And
well, you could tell they're trying to make him more into an anti-hero in this one.
Yeah, it's terrible. Right. And can I ask one last thing, and I'm going to move on? When's the last time Russell Crowe had a good movie?
Good question. No, I agree. Good question. I don't know. There's just so much to laugh about this film. I mean, this trailer, because it's like, that one line he says. What did he say? He said,
"There's 6 of you now."
Yeah, or I saw myself in the mirror. It's the first time I really saw myself. Or the part that had me dying the most is
and Craven
when he bit the guy. When
he bit that guy's nose off, that's just too much right there.
Y'all trying too hard, man.
And Craven doesn't have connection to animals. It's all just skill in the comic books. That's how he hunted down Spider-Man. It wasn't anything to do with animals.
I don't know what his powers are, but it almost seems like they were trying to do a Spider-Man. Oh, you got bit by a radioactive lion, and now you have all these like heightened senses and stuff like that.
It wasn't even a radioactive lion. It was a serum. His story is similar to Black Panther. He takes a serum and he gets enhanced, but it's not to the level of he's running off walls and shit. I don't know where the hell they got that from.
He did that. He ran on a wall.
Oh, he literally ran on a wall.
The footage of him running on the wall, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Y'all really got this man running on the wall and running on all fours. Like just stop. Stop it.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember that god awful Wolverine movie that came out? Where,
Which one?
Yeah, the first one where it was Wolverine and Sabretooth. And you just see Sabretooth running on all fours. It was like, come on. That's what it looks like. It was like some mid-2000s shitty X-Men movie.
Yeah, it was really bad.
And the thing about it, I hate to say it, Leaf Schreiber actually made a good Sabretooth. There's just everything else that they put.
All right, so it says he can hear and smell much better than the average person. Craven Age is slowly maintaining the appearance of a 30-year-old man as he enters his 70s. These powers allow Craven to survive a fight with Spider-Man, but his skills and equipment grant him a chance to win. He's strong, fast, durable, keen, and almost ageless. He can lift over 2 tons at his peak. He can run up to 60 miles per hour. He can jump more than 20 feet up with no run-up. Craven is a physical specimen, so he's kind of like Captain America. Probably a little faster.
I'm waiting for the part where they say he talks to animals.
I will let you guys. Travis, did you want to say anything about the Craven?
I'm not too familiar with the character. Unfortunately, it reminded me of Beastmaster from that movie. The only I don't know. I'm not a big fan of those Tarzan type of movies where they come to Africa and
I hear you.
And they can talk to animals and stuff like that. But no.
Yeah. So anybody else got any more things to say or laugh about Craven before we move on?
I hate going on rants like this, but why? Just for some money?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out what type of money do they expect to make off this.
Well, it depends.
It depends. Who's their audience?
It depends on how much it took to make the movie. I mean, it doesn't look like it has like a whole bunch of special effects in it. So if they made it fairly cheaply, and they can make a profit of it and still keep the license. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think they expect to make a profit. I think they're just chugging out these movies just to keep the license. Like
I agree. I agree with that.
Like
how much did Morbius make?
Nothing.
Morbius, that was a pretty bad movie.
Yeah, that shit was horrible, dude.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Let's see.
Really bad.
See now, like listen to this. Like the budget for Morbius was between 75 and 83 million. Let's say if they had any of a marketing budget, let's go ahead and say it's 100 million. So how much did it make?
Yeah, the box at least office, 100 million.
The box office, they got 167.5 million. So they made some money back. Depending on what the marketing. I'm assuming that I'm adding on another, 50 million or whatever to the.
You're being office. Nice. You're so nice.
Yeah. So, but it's not that expensive of a movie. It wasn't that expensive of a movie to make. So I see what they're doing.
It's a cash.
Yeah, it's a cash grab. Yeah, you get a, you take one of the characters, and someone's gonna go see it. It's not gonna be me, but someone's gonna see it.
And the crazy thing is, that's the same thing with Venom. They didn't. I don't think they really expected Venom to do as well as the first one. Yeah. That second one was trash.
I thought they both. Well, I didn't watch the second one. That first one, I couldn't even sit through it. I couldn't get through it. I was like, I just can't watch it. It's unwatchable.
I couldn't get through Venom. I couldn't get through Morbius. I'm not even gonna waste my time with Kraven. I mean,
listen to this.
Just not
Kraven the Hunter is made with a massive budget of $130 million.
Oh, they're not making that back. They're not making that back.
And will need to do extremely well at the box office to recover its costs.
That's not going to happen. 130 million, and is that just to make it, or that is that included?
Yeah, I don't know if they're including the
with the marketing.
Yeah, I don't know if they're including the marketing.
You want to know what I really question?
That's the reason why Flash isn't doing well. They spent over $100 million just on the marketing.
This guy right here, I wonder what they gave him, not just money, because they have to have more incentives to actually be in the movie other than just here's $20 million to star in our movie.
He's a weird guy because he's one of those guys. He was in the Kick-Ass movie. He was a young man. He might have been like 16, 17, maybe 18 years old, right? I think he might have been underage when he first made that movie. He met his wife on that movie. His wife is like 20, 30 years older than he is. So he's
interesting.
Yeah. That's not usually how Hollywood actors go about their thing. They usually get younger wives or whatever.
There are some people and older people.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. I'm not knocking. I'm just saying it's different. It's definitely different. Don't care.
He's going to hell.
Don't care when it comes to that. It says October 4th.
It's crazy. It's saying that they're expecting to earn $300 million.
And I just realized something. Hey,
what?
Brian, look up the release date for Spider-Man 2 for the PS5.
Why am I looking this up?
Because the date this movie releases just hit on something.
Oh, Spider-Man 2, what game?
Yeah.
October 20th.
Kraven's one of the main. Kraven's one of the.
Oh, okay. I see yeah.
And Kraven's one of the main villains in this movie, in this game.
So maybe they're gonna have some crossover or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When is the movie dropping now?
Like the beginning of the month.
Yeah, October 4th.
So they ain't gonna make it back. 300 million? They're not gonna make it.
Uncle Dave, you're muted. Uncle Dave, you're muted.
I was gonna say, and I was gonna ask John, how much of their budget do you think they're gonna get back? 50% of it? What do you guys think?
I think
they'll get something. Will they get close?
Well, I don't even think they're gonna break even.
They're expecting, or they want 300 million. Like according to this article, they're expecting 300 million. So if they've already spent 130 million, like I said, I don't know if that includes a marketing or not. But if they want to earn at least 300 million, I'm assuming that's what added. Like, okay, like we made some money.
Mm-hmm.
So
What do you think they're going to make though after it comes out? Profit.
I don't even think they're going.
I don't think they're going to reach.
They're going to barely break even.
Reach 300 million.
Yeah, I think they're going
to. How many million? 20 million? 10 million? What's everybody's guess?
They'll probably make 100 million off of it.
100 million.
Yeah, because we're talking about we talk about box office worldwide. So they'll probably reach 100. They might actually make 150. But there ain't no way in the world Kraven the Hunter is getting 300 million.
I don't think so either.
I didn't know who he was until you guys played this trailer.
I mean, he's like a G tier.
He's not a very well known character. I mean, yes, Venom did well, but Venom is like probably the second most. Well, maybe not the second. Maybe Green Goblin is probably.
They're trying to do the Blade.
No, Venom is up there.
They're trying to do the Blade.
I can see Venom. Maybe doing that well, and it did do that well, but Kraven, like, come on, man, like, no,
John, they're trying to do the Blade. They're trying to do because Blade wasn't a really well-known character, and that blew up. That first movie blew up. But you had the gravitas
movie.
You had the gravitas of Wesley Snipes. It was extremely well-directed film. Like the only good Blade movie is that first Blade movie. The rest of them are trash.
Yeah, the other ones are. The
only good one.
Even though they did well, but. The movies are bad.
But that first one, I don't know who directed it, but he did a hell of a job. And then you had the gravitas of Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes.
The director's actually
pretty popular character. I mean, yeah, he's pretty. At the time, he was a pretty popular actor. But this movie, like, nobody cares about the guy that played in Kick-Ass or played Quicksilver. Like, he's not a draw. He's not someone goes to go see.
Like the director for the Blade movie is actually in the movie. And he's the lackey vampire who got his arm cut off.
Oh, yeah. I think that's
Blade had a much smaller budget too.
Not only that, but
I don't know.
I agree. Nobody cares about Kraven.
And then you got probably like studio execs and stuff like that who can't see the writing on the wall, and that is superhero fatigue is real. It's real. And so I think they were, the superhero movie's doing well. Hey, let's get this Kraven, because these other movies did so well, we at least going to get 300 million. I'm like, I could be wrong. Maybe there's a lot of love for Kraven I just didn't know about. But this movie's gonna fucking flop, dude. This is not gonna do well.
It's gonna flop, man. There ain't no way this is making 300 million. Flash is as popular as a character as Flash is. If they can't, now granted they had a whole bunch of stuff going against it. All the controversy before the movie came out with the main actor and all of that. But if something as popular as Flash with other popular heroes in there like Batman and Supergirl, if they can't reach 300 million worldwide, Kraven is not reaching 300 million.
I agree.
I'd be surprised. I'd really be surprised if they hit 150, which would be breaking even essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I entirely think that's their hopes. Like if they break even, they didn't make anything, they didn't lose anything, so they won't. It's just a cash grab. Okay, well, y'all, this movie sucked. Well, stay tuned. We're gonna have Sinister Six or whatever the next plan is.
That's a good point. That's a good point because they could be setting it up so that they could do a Sinister Six movie to push that against Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? So, or pair that up with Spider-Man. Because, I think you're right. I think from a long-term perspective, if they at least break even, they keep the rights to the franchise because they've been producing content based on the franchise consistently, and they might get lucky. Maybe it's not probably a good business practices, but maybe it will be the next Blade. I doubt that very seriously.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Like I said, with Venom, and even with Venom, I don't think anyone expected Venom to do that well. I still don't understand how it did that well because.
Well, Venom
is also, he's over the last, I would say, since he was created, he became a very popular. Because most of Spider-Man's rogue Rogues Gallery is really lame. Venom was like the one that was like menacing and cool looking. You know what I'm
It
saying?
was cool looking, right?
Yeah.
So
So
I mean,
there's
that's what I say.
a
Like
lot of
Venom,
people like Venom. He's an interesting looking character. I had a
But
way back when I
with
worked.
the
A guy had me draw a tattoo for him, and it was Venom. I've never heard anybody draw a tattoo of Craven. I just haven't seen it. I mean, I just haven't seen it.
but
You
but you got but the thing about it is this: the Venom we got is not Venom.
Honestly, I really don't care because the movies were so bad, in my opinion.
yeah,
But
I
it was
don't care
it was
either.
popular
It's like
enough to make
whatever.
some money, so I guess that's all that matters.
Exactly.
You know.
Like
Yeah.
that's the point. The point is, it's they're drawing off of the fan base that's already there.
Yeah.
There ain't no fan base for Craven. Come on, man.
All right,
You know,
guys, but
he's like fourth tier character in the Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
get out of here, man. Like,
You know what? There's so many characters they could have used. Like,
we can't
I would have loved to see the Green Goblin movie, even though they used him. He's already dead. That would have been interesting. But with it,
No, I have to disagree that I don't give a damn about a Green Goblin. I just don't. Give
I mean, you're Sony. You got money.
Yeah,
Just
Doc
come
Ock
up with
and
something.
Green
Come up with something new.
Yeah.
well, they did. All of a sudden, the Rhino, instead of being in the suit, he has what's that skin disease
It's
that?
not a new character.
No,
He's
wait,
not, dude. He's another
talking about
D
just like
tier
a new
villain
IP.
character.
Yeah, I'm talking about just a new IP in
New
general.
concept.
Like just,
Yeah.
just come up with something new, man.
That's the problem with Hollywood, though, man. That's the problem. They're just lazy. Rather than coming up with new ideas, they'll just rehash something from 20 years ago, thinking that people forgot. We are not that old. We have good memories. They're just going to sit there and.
Well,
It makes sense.
it's not so much a
go with their
lazy
money makers.
It's not so much a lazy thing. I think it's more of a risk thing. No one wants to take a risk on anything new.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you pick up something that is already somewhat well known, and you try to bank on that. I mean, why do you think we're getting, which is going to be our next topic, another goddamn Indiana Jones movie that nobody wanted, nobody cares about. No one wants to see 80-year-old fucking Harrison Ford hobbling around in the Indiana Jones film. No one wants to see it. You know. But
And you're
with
right.
that,
It's Disney, and Disney, they're all they're doing is they're rehashing all the stuff that they've already come out with. I mean, that's the reason why we're
Disney's-
seeing.
It's not a
Little
bad business
Mermaid and all this
practice, but
stuff.
it's not a good one. All they're doing is
See, I don't
they're
mind it.
recycling
okay,
money
guys. Demetrius, finish.
or
your point.
IPs. Like Indiana
Have the-
Jones made money for them in the 80s, so they're hoping that it will make money for them now. Since it's like it's his last hurrah. It's a last hurrah should have ended in 1983 with Indiana Jones and the Glass Crusade. But I digress. And they're trying to excuse for all the ladies out there. They're trying to feminize everything.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I think I could have liked a fourth Indiana Jones film. That was especially if it was a proper passing the torch film to his son. But they botched it. They botched the Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
you
you
know.
expected so much more.
Yeah, that in my opinion, I would have been fine with the fourth Indiana Jones film when he's middle aged, he's getting into almost 60s or whatever. But it was a horrible movie. Which makes me like, it's like, why come out with a fifth one? The other one bombed, or maybe it made money. I don't know, but no one liked it. No, it wasn't well received. And but you're gonna do it when he's 80? Yeah, Crystal Skull.
The Crystal Skull. Oh, okay,
yeah. But anyway, before we move on to that trailer for the Dial of Destiny, did anybody have anything else to say about Craven?
I got a question. How many people are actually going to see it? Just for research purposes.
I'm not
in this chat. Probably
Who
nobody.
will to watch that? Man? I can spend my money with the
I
Lord.
watched Morbius when it came out on streaming just to watch it. So maybe I'll watch it when it comes, just to laugh at it, and
I mean,
maybe you know what? Maybe I'll watch it. Like, this movie actually wasn't that bad. But I'm not gonna go spend money in the theaters. It's not gonna,
If it comes on Netflix, 4 years from now, it ain't nothing on Netflix.
It's not gonna happen.
And he can afford it. She made money though.
Yeah, see, maybe it made money, but it wasn't well received. No one liked the movie. You see what I'm saying? Crystal Skull.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, we're gonna move on to the Dial of Destiny, so we can laugh at that. All right, we're gonna move on to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And
the lies. You say you were gonna play, and you're still talking.
Well, if you let me finish, I was literally about to say I'm about to play the movie. Okay, here it is, guys.
I'm retiring.
Well, in that case, what are we drinking?
Same for the goddaughter.
Dad told me you found something on a train during the war. A dial that could change the course of history.
Why are you chasing the thing that drove your father crazy?
Don't move. We need to get out of here. Stop! Sorry.
Helena! Dr. Jones, get him. Hitler made mistakes, and with this, I will correct them all. You stole it. Then you stole it.
And then I stole it. It's called capitalism.
This way!
Fasten your seatbelt. There might be some turbulence.
You've taken your chances, made your mistakes, and now a final triumph.
Give him hell, Indiana Jones! A few times in my life, I've seen things. I've been tortured with voodoo. Been shot 9 times, including once by your father. Sorry! But I've been looking for this all my life.
All right, I'm going to start off with this. The first thing I want to say is, and I know why they did it, because I think this movie takes place in the 60s, so they had like the Rolling Stones playing. I'm getting really, really sick and tired of them using like, well, you can't even call it contemporary music anymore because shit was made in the 60s, but I'm tired of them like mixing genres in trailers. So you have like a period film, and to be fair, it takes place in the 60s, so I get why they use it. And you'll hear it playing, and then you'll hear the classic score. Or it's just play the classic score.
Yeah, they ruined the music.
Yeah, play the classic score.
The
That's the first thing. 2, and I'm just gonna start off with this. He looks old. He looks old, man. Like when you think of Indiana Jones, you think of you know, kind of like a
spoiler alert. He is old.
I know, he's 80 years old. Scruffy, kind of like not so much a rebel, but someone who like a
scoundrel.
Scoundrel, yeah, but like a heroic scoundrel, and no one wants to see him past his prime. It's kind of like
really old,
with The Last Jedi, no one wants to see an old, beat up, past his prime Luke who's just a shell of his former self. Like no one wants to see that. And if you are going to do that, you had to at least redeem him in a really cool way. It's the same thing with this. It's like you're beating a dead horse here. Nobody asked for this movie. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, man. After the Crystal Skull, can you mute it for me, Uncle Dave? Because I'm getting an echo. But after the Crystal Skull, man, it's like you had a shot, you blew it, and you do this. And it's like if you're going to give him a female counterpart, and I hate to sound sexist here, but at least make it someone worth looking at. What does she call? What do the women call her? A basic bitch? Is that what they call them now? Where you're like average, and it's just like I don't want to see it. I don't want to see her. I don't want to see. I'm sorry, I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. At least his former love interest, because his first love interest, she seemed like a regular woman or whatever, but she was very feminine.
Was he married? I think didn't he get married at the end of the last one or something like that?
I take that back.
What was her name? Ravenwood or something like that?
I take that back. She had a tough streak because she owned a bar, but she still came off as a woman. She came very feminine at times. And then the second one, which is the Temple of Doom, I think was a prequel.
I thought it was Raiders of the Lost Raiders of the Lost Ark, wasn't it?
No, the second one was the Temple of Doom. It was a prequel. I was going to talk about his, the female interest in that. She was a blonde bombshell. Why do we get this Phoebe Waller-Bridge lady? She's not that good looking. She's not funny. She's not interesting. She's definitely not a
Brian, you
draw.
trying to get us canceled?
I'm not trying to get us canceled. I'm talking about the science of movies, right?
That's
Like,
all
okay,
him, man.
Indiana Jones is a movie that's primarily focused on a male audience. And I'm not saying females don't watch it, but it's mostly men who are going to watch this. You want to get those people into the seats, right? So why would you cast Phoebe Waller-Bridge? Like, I didn't even know who she was until until this trailer came out, and I had to look her up. Like, who is she? She's just a random British lady. You know what I'm saying? That she's in this movie is in a show that most Americans don't care about. So why would you? I don't know. That's just me. I'm looking at it like, okay, the only thing I liked about this trailer was John Williams' score. That's it. Everything else I just didn't care about. So as a man, right? If we're the primary ones who are going to go spend money to see this type of movie, what in this trailer is supposed to draw me in? You got a old geezer who's past his prime, both literally and figuratively, right?
I'm going to cut you off. I hate to agree with you, but
I'm not being sexist. It's the truth.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, what? But I mean, it's just funny. Only thing I can think of is because she's British. That's the reason why they put her in that role. She's British. Hold on, this is the same. Wasn't she in one of the Bond movies? I think she was in one of the Bond movies.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge? I don't think so.
I think so. She wasn't a Bond girl.
They usually have very attractive women as Bond girls. I'm pretty sure she was not.
I don't know. I have to look it up. I thought she was in one of the. I thought I saw her in one of
Phoebe
the.
Waller-Bridge. Maybe she was. I don't know. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Bond. Oh yeah, she was.
Bond girl was she?
Yeah, she was.
Maybe I thought.
Maybe that's why
I thought she was in one of the Bond movies.
Maybe that's why she's so forgettable.
Which one was she in? So she was in one of the Daniel Craig ones.
She got one of the faces you can only forget. Yeah, she was in it. She was in it.
Which one was she in?
I think it was. I just saw it. It was in No Time to Die.
Oh, No Time to Die. Oh yeah. Never mind.
Yeah. She was in. So that was the last one. Okay.
That's why I don't know who she is, because I've never seen that movie.
Oh yeah. No one's seen No Time to Die.
No, Bond movies are dead. It's like why even bother? Stop making them.
I mean, you ain't missing that.
I
mean, you're not missing nothing. That's for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even bother watching it. It's like
I thought someone else took his place now. I thought
talk about another franchise that you probably just need to go ahead and put a pin in it. The Bond movies, because
there's like 25 of them. I mean,
everything the Bond movies do now. There's other.
It's done better by Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible, the John Wick movies. You know what I'm saying? Even the Gray Man movie, I find more interesting than the Bond movies. And that was a Netflix movie.
And they're trying to get. I think they're trying to get Henry Cavill to be the next Bond.
Now, see, they might bring to life if they did that, because a lot of people like Henry Cavill. And he's already British anyway, so so if they get a really good director,
too big to be Bond, though.
Yeah. But any more thoughts on Indy 5 here?
Well, you had the only thoughts.
Yeah, but Harris Ford needs to retire. I'm sorry, that man's getting too old.
I don't think he needs to retire.
He's literally retired.
The man is 80 years old. He's 80.
It's like you had the only thoughts.
You got a 3.7 right now. The audience rating.
Bro, how do you get to 80 years old and have that kind of money and still want to work? That's my question, bro. He could do anything with the money he has. He's making his own movies. Like, come on now.
I know, Carbon, but because you're still young, but. And we're
didn't do him like that.
No, it's not a slight.
I know you still wet behind the ears, son.
It's not.
Or did he just on him?
No, it's not a slight. The point I was going to make was, we're middle aged, right? So
I'm not middle aged.
Oh, you're definitely middle aged. That's why you're wearing that bandana. Hide that hairline.
Oh, why they think that way? I think he got the hat on.
Oh, well, yeah.
Friar Tuck.
But we're middle aged, so we're starting to think about things like legacy now, because we got more years behind us than we do ahead of us.
That's you.
Oh, definitely you too. But
no. I'm immortal. Okay.
But so you got to think he's 80 years old. He got all the money in the world. He has all the accolades in the world. For him, this is about legacy. This is about his last foray into this type of
medium. It's still kind of bad that he being old and struggling in that movie and be like, yo, bro, you rusted up, man. Like, come on now.
Well, did
he just say it's rusted up?
I mean,
wow. It's probably still his passion, though.
What are you talking? Do you not see him? He's old, bro. Look at him.
But it's probably still his passion. Like,
yeah,
and he's able. He can. I mean, why not? I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. I just have a problem. I just have a problem with them making an entire movie with him running around because he is 80 years old. Like, man, just let the new generation take over the franchise, man.
Exactly.
And move on.
What they should have done. What they should have done was brought Shia LaBeouf back and did a proper passing of the torch.
He went to jail, dude.
He's not in jail. He's not in jail right now. What are you talking about? He's not in jail. The point I'm trying to make though is if you look at The Last Crusade, right? That worked because you had basically an older Bond, which is
Sean
Connery, playing off of more youthful energy, which was Harrison Ford. They could have done the same thing and actually passed the torch down to his son. You know what they do to his son in this movie?
They killed him off.
He dies in Vietnam.
He dies in Vietnam. Yeah.
This is supposed to be a movie for men that has a largely male audience. And then instead of saying, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to pass off my legacy," you know what I thought would have been a really cool concept for this movie, other than a stupid time travel dial destiny thing. Like his son gets recruited by the CIA, right? He has to contend with Nazis who are trying to find the bell, the Nazi bell, the thing that people say
Wonderwaffle.
Yeah, that they created to try to create flying saucers.
Yeah.
So he has to contend. His son has to contend with that. He doesn't know how to deal with it, so he goes reluctantly to ask his dad, "How you deal with these Nazis? They're crazy or whatever." And they go on this adventure, and then at the end of the movie, you see Shia LaBeouf get the hat. I would go see that. I would go see that. I'm not gonna go see Fleabag, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and I'm calling it because that's the name of the show that she was in. So that's what people are calling her, Fleabag. Berate an old Indiana Jones talking about how sorry he is and how horrible he was his whole life. I'm not gonna go see it. I'm not gonna go watch that. I'm sorry.
But the thing about it, Brian, with your one movie idea, you just spoiled the movie for me. Because you know what they're gonna do. At the end of the movie, he's gonna use the dial to bring back his son.
I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure that's not gonna happen. Yeah.
I'm really trying to figure out why they calling this girl Fleabag.
Well, because she played in a show called Fleabag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they just call her Fleabag.
I was like, that's just rude, man. First, Mr. Galactic said it, and then it kind of froze me, and he was like, because it's in the show, I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, man, of all the names you could call somebody, Fleabag, oh please, man.
You know who I'm most interested
that's rude.
in hearing from when it comes to this is our one actual filmmaker, Avidya. What are your thoughts on this? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I see why they made the movie. I know why Disney made the movie because they focus on tentpoles. Something that's gonna. I just think right now. Those auteur filmmakers, like Steven Spielberg and what's his name? Who made Star Wars?
George Lucas.
George Lucas. And,
shame on his soul.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese and all those guys. I just think what they're looking for is they're looking for a new pool of filmmakers to create new IP that they can jump on to, that they can create tempos from. They had that in the 90s. in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Right now in the 2000s, and the
2020s.
The 2020s, we don't have a real strong pool of filmmakers, unfortunately, that they can really pull from. I mean, you got some outliers, like P.T. Anderson and, and Dennis, who did Dune, but
I mean,
and
are they?
Christopher Nolan, but they're not making anything that can, that they can make, a series from.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. The Warsakin sisters, that's the closest I see. The rest, it's really struggling to try to find that. And I really wish that they would, put their attention and focus on, other directors, preferably, directors of color, to try to see what kind of, because I think we have some imaginative people like yourselves who come up with, content that they can really build upon. But I don't know. That's the reason why I feel that the Spider-Verse did so well. The audience is looking for something new. But I don't know. Everything works in trends, and right now that we don't have those filmmakers that can create, something that they can create tentpoles and create a whole universe from, other than the Matrix.
That's more than 20 years old now.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I'll say this though, like, do you think? Well, let me ask: do you think that the people are there, the concepts are there? It's just no one's willing to take a risk on them.
Yeah, I mean, because the studios are struggling and they're trying to figure out how that's the reason why the writers are striking. I have a friend who's a writer, and he's out of work. I mean, he's doing some stuff, for independent filmmakers like myself. But everything has changed with the whole, VOD and the streaming services and stuff, and how to monetize that. If you make a film, it has to make almost 4 times its budget to recoup the cost of it. So, it's hard. It's hard to try to pitch something new that they're going to put money behind that doesn't have a ready-made audience. That's the reason why. Right now they're looking for YouTubers. They're looking for people who, influencers right now. People who already have 100, a million followers, and they'll throw money behind that because, it's just the studios are hurting, really.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get why they do it. But it's something Winston Churchill said during World War II, whether you think he was a good man or not. But they were getting bombed and shit. Britain was getting bombed and shit, and they had some kind of theater production. I hope I'm remembering it right. It was some kind of play or something was supposed to happen, and they had just gotten bombed. And one of his underlings said, "Hey, we need to cancel this," and he was like, "No, don't cancel it. Keep let the show go on." And he was like, we just got bombed. You know what I'm saying? He was like, what are we doing all this for then? This is why we're fighting. The arts helps elevate humanity, and I think we got so caught up in everything having to make this giant profit. You know what I'm saying? That maybe they should have a little bit of a money to side. Hey, we're gonna experiment with this. I heard that's why there's a Pixar. Well, I don't think that's why I heard it. Pixar was trying to leave, but if you notice, Pixar, it does more of the original content, whereas Disney, it'll do all right, we're gonna do the live action version of this. Tenfold. We can do live action. You know what I'm saying? We'll make the money off of these, and maybe we can fund some of these other ones that we don't know if it's gonna hit or not.
I mean, there's studios that are still trying take a page from the old, like A24, still, and doing really well at it, because they focus on more so curating their audience and the merchandising and making it, making their brand as just as popular as the product that the films that they put out. So, I mean, there's some, it's like, a few studios that are still, focusing on the artistry and understanding a strong story and put money behind visionary filmmakers that they believe that could really take the genre to another place, because that's what we really need. People are looking for something different.
Yeah.
And just to echo from someone saying about the video game, that's probably the reason why they put out Kraven, because I'm pretty sure that's the reason. Because when I worked on the film years ago on radio, they it was an independent project film until Sony Pictures picked it up and threw a whole bunch of money on it, and we were giving away PlayStations, and we were trying to do whatever we can, but the movie didn't. The movie flopped. But
what was it called? Radio?
Yeah,
Cuba
radio.
Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. That's a Cuba Gooding Jr. Right?
Yeah, and and it was a first time director, and he was not ready for all that, all that money. But like I said,
damn boy, they got Cuba looking rough.
I like that movie.
Hey man, you should see him now. Then he's going through that rape charge.
This is like the Black Forrest Gump.
Yeah, well, that was the
but
real radio. Based on a true
story.
Yeah, on set they had me, radio, the real radio. I don't know why they kept having me babysit him the whole time.
Are you serious? Jeez.
Yeah, but
oh wow, man! I didn't know you was on this movie, man. This was a good. I like this movie, man. I saw this movie in Japan.
Avidya is the real deal. He's the real deal. That's why his point of view is so valuable here.
Yeah, but
so you saying that my point of view is not valuable?
Not as valuable as Travis.
Well, thank you. Good night, everyone.
Merry
Christmas to all. Good night.
All right, okay.
Let's let
we keep interrupting. Let's let Travis finish.
No. I mean, I just think, I'm hoping, I'm hoping that they'll put money behind filmmakers like like myself. Now, I don't know if you had a chance to check out the I Am Virgo that's on Prime, Amazon Prime. So we got some.
Oh yeah, this is the one about the giant.
Yeah.
You worked on this?
No.
I'm not watching it. I'm joking.
The filmmaker, he, Boots, he, of course he used to be a rapper. And they
you talking about what's his name? Boots. He's a street sweeper. Social club. He actually did, and he did. Thank you for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I know you're talking about. Boots Riley.
That was his first film.
Is this more of the African American surrealism type thing?
Yeah, it was Afro surrealism. I mean, hey, I do neorealism, but I'm just happy to see, Black filmmaker, getting work and having a series and stuff. And like I said, it's a handful of studios. Amazon is one who's really, willing to take chances and put money behind, Black filmmakers and stuff like that. And knock on wood, hopefully, because I want to have my own series. I'll have my own series too, on there. Well,
you're trying to get American
that or Netflix, So, yeah, man. Yeah, we're plugging away, but we need y'all to support.
Most definitely. Yeah. Go ahead, Uncle Dave.
I was gonna say with the I Am Virgo, have you seen it, Travis?
Yeah, well, I've seen 3 episodes of it so far. I haven't finished all of it.
Series.
Yes.
And what would you say? What's the appeal?
Well, Boots, he's imaginative in the way he's not my cup of tea. But I mean, people like it. It's
good music or something like that.
No,
I don't know who the rapper is.
He's not a rapper. He's more of a rock star.
I'm trying to think. He's. I wouldn't say the only director I can liken him to is like I mean, visually, I mean, he's unique visually. He reminds me of a David Lynch. He reminds me of a Tim Burton in a sense that his stuff is like almost the absurdity of it is it's the appeal of it. But
kind of like the Kendrick Lamar video. You gonna be all right?
Exactly. You're right.
I like that.
Okay.
I'll check it out.
Then you'll dig it. You'll dig it.
Okay.
You gonna be all right.
All right. So, does anybody else have anything to say about Indiana Jones or some of the things Travis talked about? Does anybody else have anything? I think I was muted. Does anybody else have anything else to say about Indiana Jones or some of the subjects that Travis brought up?
I agree with everything he just said, though. Like, and it's the sheer fact that it's like imagination and creativity is shunned. Everybody wants to go for the safe roll of the dice. The game has to be rigged before you put anything out into the world that you're afraid to really pour your heart and soul into. Like we're all creatives here, and we don't mind. We want to express our talent. We want to get it out into the world. But 9 times out of 10, before a new idea comes out, well, we get a 5th Indiana Jones movie or a Kraven the Hunter movie that nobody wanted. Like that's my biggest thing. Like I love the indie comic scene, but like Invincible, like we've all watched the series. It took that story almost 20 years to even get the notice that it got now.
Yeah, there's a balance. I think that ultimately the movie business is a business. They're trying to make a profit. But to Travis's point, I still think that there should be enough room, especially it's also a $1 billion industry. There should be enough room to where I think they can experiment and try some different things. One thing I think about the Miles Morales movies or the Spider-Verse movies that kind of surprised me is, you have a lead black male heterosexual character, hopefully, that's ruling the box office right now. So this idea that people don't care about diversity, I think is true in the sense that they don't really care if he's black. They don't really care if he's white. What they care is they want to see something good. They want to see an interesting story, good concepts. You know what I'm saying? And
you know what?
They want to see the dude get the girl. You know what I'm saying? They want to see the dude win. They want to see, especially now, because the inflation and depression and wars and stuff like that. So it's also a timing thing, I think.
You know what? Brian, I have to beg to differ with you on that because I was just thinking about that as soon as you said a black main character ruling the box office. When you really think about it, think of the trend. Spawn, when it came out, killed the box office. Blade, when it came out, killed the box office. Black Panther, killed the box office. Miles Morales as Spider-Man.
So are we agreeing? What I'm saying is I don't think people care that much about that. I mean, there are some people who care if Spider-Man's black or the main character's black. What I'm saying is those movies were good. They were good movies. Spawn was good for its time. I don't think it's quite held up. Before the time, it was a decent movie.
But think about it.
I got a question or a response for Demetrius. Because I heard what he said, and but my question would be, if you took Spawn, Blade, and all those characters, and you took those movies and you made that main character Chinese, they would still stand up and be just as good of movies. Plus, most black people didn't know who Blade was when it came out. Only comic people who knew. So black people didn't go to the film so much because it was Blade. They went because it was Wesley Snipes. If you had chosen another an English actor and put him up there and said this is Blade, they'd probably been like,
And this is true, and I agree with what you just said.
Well, you kind of contradicted yourself a little bit right there, Uncle Dave.
What's that?
Because at first you said you could have made him Chinese, and the movies would have been just as good. And then you said, well, the only reason why black people went to go see it is because there's Wesley Snipes, and I'm assuming because he's black.
Well, think about what. Okay.
Let me clarify.
Yeah, let him clarify. Yeah.
Right. The movie Blade was written well enough where you could put any character in there. That's point one, right? And it would have sold on its own.
You mean character or actor?
Or actor,
okay.
Right? Because most people didn't know Blade was supposed to be a black vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We didn't read the comic. It's just a vampire who fights other vampires. If you just made a movie about that and played that same Blade, most people would have went and saw it anyway.
Well, I'll add a caveat. I'll add a caveat. An actor of another hue and ethnicity of comparable ability and gravitas, like someone who can hold the role. Because I think if you just put anybody in there, it could actually make the movie worse.
Dude, man, you could have took one of those, like, what's his name, Donnie Yen, who's somebody like one of those. What's my man's name?
No, Donnie Yen wouldn't have been able to carry that movie. Not for American.
Nope. No, yeah.
His English.
Michael Jai White, but he just.
You get the point.
Yeah.
Here's my retort.
I make it look good and smooth or whatever, and could do the acting part.
That's what I'm saying. Like if
people would have still went out and saw it.
Yeah.
But my point is, most of these movies that Demetrius you mentioned, man, they're off the spectrum for what most black people like.
Okay. And one thing I'm gonna say this. All right, we're talking about this off camera, but
no, we're not talking about it. We're on camera. We're on camera right now.
But I'm making a point.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't see many black. I can count on one hand how many black movies I've liked over the last 10 years. And a strong black presence on film automatically gravitates my eyes and my attention. Think about it. Samuel L. Jackson in this Marvel series, people aren't watching it for all the other aspects of the show. Yeah, we were interested in how the story goes, but Samuel L. Jackson is just that great of an actor.
I like Sam Jackson, but he's not enough to make me watch that show. I just don't care.
But think about it. And I got a point. But if Nick Fury was David Hasselhoff, would we still watch that show at all? Would we give it the same attention?
It depends. David
Hasselhoff was Nick Fury in the 90s.
He was, and I don't know who's older. I'm assuming David Hasselhoff was probably a little older than Sam Jackson.
Oh, I didn't know he was that.
Because Hasselhoff was big, like in like the 80s and early 90s.
In the 80s, yeah.
And early 90s.
That's Michael Knight, man.
The Baywatch thing. So, like I say, I think it's also a timing thing. I don't think it's just a ethnicity thing. I think it's also a timing. I think Wesley Snipes was perfect for that role, and it was a perfect time. You know, I think you probably could have found a white or an Asian actor that could have done it just as well. But maybe they wouldn't have the same
gravitas
to pull people into the theater. Like, you know, I could probably see someone like a Sean Bean if he bulked up or whatever, maybe in the role, or maybe even like a more grittier Brad Pitt, someone who you can pull people to the, to the role. But the larger point though, I think, is it's a blend, right? You got all, and someone said this about movie making. It was like it's not something that you can perfect, because there's all these working parts that gotta come together to create something special. That's what one of the concerns was about Across the Spider-Verse, because they got some different directors, some different animators. I think they added more animators. As a matter of fact, 100 animators quit while working on it because they were overworked and underpaid. And now they got to push the second movie back because basically animators have gone on strike, not officially, but they
Yeah, I should
basically
try to
gone on
apply to
strike.
Sony now. So see how a ton of
I know, seriously, that's a good point. Yeah.
and I
But
might get overworked, but hey, man,
yeah, at least you
I'll
get your
try.
foot in the door. Yeah, but I guess the
Yeah,
larger
I'll
point
work
I'm
on it.
making is that it's hard to get that chemistry down, and then you have a time frame. You can't work on the movie forever. You know what I'm saying? You got to get it done in a certain time. So I get from the studio or the executive side, I get where from the business side, I get why they make certain decisions. I still think though that just like how corporations who owned newspapers back in the day, right? They understood newspapers and media companies would lose money, but it was for the greater good to inform people and to keep things about the facts. Now that money is in news, you don't know what to believe anymore because everybody has an agenda. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about reporting the facts. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's all about money now. It's all about views. That's why they're always trying to be first. That's why they're always even if hasn't been confirmed, they'll say alleged. You know what I'm saying? And it's always sensational. It's never right. Like, tell me what happened so I can make some decisions or whatever. I think the same thing needs to happen in the movie industry. Look, there's gonna be a certain money that we always put to the side for new ideas, new people, new concepts, new directors, new actors. You know what I'm saying? I think they need to go back to I don't know if they've ever had that model, but if they do, if they did, they need to go to a model.
I think they do. I think that's how a lot of independent B movies and stuff get a chance. They get to borrow from those budgets. But now, if you look at inflation and the times we're in, they're so scared to take a risk. That if we don't smash it every time, then our whole company will go under. It has to be a hit. We can't afford to put money on.
But it's almost like they're shooting themselves in the foot because it has to be a hit. So we're gonna play it completely safe, utterly safe.
Right.
We're not gonna take any risks. The story is gonna be a story like a seventh grader wrote, like a seventh grader wrote the script. It's nothing interesting. It's bad writing, bad acting. So but anyway.
Right. It's the business people think they know better than the actual artists.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do.
And the marketeers that's reading the audience, right? When they do the test groups and stuff like that, and what we're gonna add and what we're gonna cut when it gets edited, you have to be able to kind of read it. Now, if you had a good turnout for Spider-Man last time, and you do Spider-Man a second time, and you get a good turnout. You always have to have the wisdom that at some point this is going to get old as well, and you just can't do Spider-Man and then do Spider-Man and then do Spider-Man.
And
you better come up with a new character.
And that's the wisdom Lucasfilm hasn't learned, or Disney for that matter. But go ahead, Travis.
No, well, I did my like the first Spider-Verse. Well, Into the Spider-Verse was the first.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see it when it first announced because I was like, wow, what they're doing, like they always do, is so cliche. They give us a hand-me-down. They'll just swap it for a black character. And then later, when I finally got to see it, watch the film, I said, wow, this is really good. Because it didn't feel patronizing. It felt it was tailored to his life.
And Miles is his own character. He's not the Black Peter Parker. He's Miles Morales.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I just think that's what's missing is that because if you stop, if they're not willing, if they would take the time to just make black stories, or I'm not just saying black stories.
I'll be honest with you. Miles' story isn't a black story. You know what Miles' story is? Miles' story is a assimilation story. That's what Miles' story.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, I understand that they're only going to go but so far because they're a business. They're a corporation, so they still have to appeal to their masses. So I understand they're going to do it. They're going to create until a point. Not a lot of places like Amazon and A24 are willing to take that kind of risk. But if they would create stuff or look for content creator or creators like yourselves, I think they would make a lot of money. They would but it's just hard. And to your point, there's a lot of black films out there. It's a lot of black films, not just American films. I mean, there's stuff out of Nigeria, some out of South Africa. There's some Kenyan films that are really good. Some few Jamaican films. I can give you a list of films that are phenomenal filmmakers.
I think what Demetrius was saying, you correct me if I'm wrong, Demetrius. I think he meant black African American films.
I got I just think just look at the diaspora.
If you want to know how I feel about black African American films, I think we have returned in film to the time of buffoonery, when the early that were happening in the early 1900s. They rather shuck and jive and entertain.
The minstrels.
Yeah, minstrel films. You're right.
Yeah.
And like they had like the blackening. I saw that. I'm like, what the hell is this? Or anything that is like Tyler Perry. I'm not saying anything that against him or for him. Just know that I am against him, though. But you can take his movies and cookie cutter this movie from beginning to end.
It's a degradation of our culture. But yeah, go ahead, Travis.
Well, I think the reason for that is because, unfortunately, I'm going to get some pushback for that. I say unfortunately is because African American, our history and our stories are, basically from the transatlantic slave trade, and then once we got emancipated, unlike Africans and on the continent, they have the gods. They got Obatala, Ogun, Shango, they have so many stories to pull from, and that's the reason why. I'm not saying that we don't have that. I just think we do, but our life experience, for the most part, that's the reason why we keep on putting out films about us in jail, being drug dealers. Tyler Perry, man bashing.
Yeah, I heard one guy on Facebook, he said this years ago, but it cracked me up every time I think about it. But he was like, man, why can't a nigga ever go to Narnia? I was like, when he said that
shit. It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. When we were in Atlanta, at what was that comic book convention that we went?
Onyx Con.
Dragon Con, I think.
Onyx Con, Uncle Dave.
Right? We met right there in Atlanta a huge group of black animators. I mean, literally at Onyx Con, everybody in the room was a black commissar. Some of them had some type of game they were working on.
That was Black Sands. Tuskegee Heirs. Yeah.
Tuskegee Heirs was the next person I was gonna.
I'm surprised those guys haven't gotten a deal yet.
But see, that's the thing. Why is it? When people come here, they should hear Travis's name, right? Somebody at my job is supposed to come to me with Travis on his cell phone and say, "This is American Street. This guy lives here." Why is it so hard for us to lock down the grassroots sections in our local community?
Degradation. It's the degradation of the culture. After integration, right? And I hung out with my dad a day before we went to go. I took him to go see Across the Spider-Verse for Father's Day, and we just shooting the breeze, talking, and he said that part of integration is.
Hey, everybody there?
Yeah, we can hear you. But part of integration is when you integrate into a larger society, you have to expect that you're going to lose an aspect of yourself. And I think that's what's happened. That's why our music sucks now. You know what I'm saying? That's why our culture is degraded now. That's why anything.
Why do people choose? Why do people turn off Kendrick Lamar and turn on little insert last name here?
I think it's
Why do
again.
they
I think
make that choice?
it's
Is it
degradation.
marketing?
No, it's the degradation of the culture. And BGS Ibmore, he brought this up. He was like, when you look at Kenneth B. Clark in his book, I think it was called Dark Ghetto, and even Moynihan, I believe, quoted him. He was like, look, if you do not address the issues of black men and boys when it comes to jobs, when it comes to education, what's going to happen is a proliferation of ghetto culture, and it's going to affect not just black people, but the society in general, and that's exactly what has happened. So
That's the
you're
thing.
seeing the degradation happen with us first, because everything that happens bad in this country happens to us first. You know how to,
Why
so
though?
yeah.
The thing is it are people
Who-
imitating other people
who's
that enjoy bad
who's
art?
safeguarding the culture? It's supposed to be men, but if the men don't have any power, how are they going to safeguard it?
What if you? I mean, certain part of the culture, yeah, you have to safeguard, right? And I get it. But if we put two benign things down, we put a mumble rap song, no curse words, and a educational rap song, right? What's making people choose the
I
mumble
mean,
of
you
the
still,
two?
I think you got to look at it. It's not about like an individual choice. It's about the systemic environment and how that affects people's choices. You see what I'm saying? So
Right, but
if your
then I
men,
can
if
see
your
if
men
they
have been
didn't have
if your
choice.
men have been pushed out of the family unit, right? You know, you're a second. You're not even a second thought. You're just there for a check for child support, right? You're not in the family life anymore. You don't have any say. You don't have any power. You don't have any say of what goes on. What's left? What's left is your children are being raised by the media and the school system.
So you're saying that
Hopefully you'll have a mother who's hardcore, who will combat that. But most women aren't. Most women are
so
average.
you
Most women are regular.
I hate to
so you're
say
saying they're
it.
They're being
suffering from
raised
like
by the screens, by social media. You see what I'm
so
saying?
they're victims of group think. They don't
Well,
they're
Yeah.
not really
What do they say?
they'd rather not. Well, somebody
It's
said
not
it.
about whether or not. Okay, think about it. All right. We're a product of how we were raised. It's not
Yeah.
absolute, but when you look at the bell curve, most of us look. If you were raised in a certain way, it's going to produce a certain outcome. So
Well,
if you're a
I heard
kid,
somebody say
if
it
you're a
in a
kid,
different way.
if you're a kid, right, and all you've seen screens in front of your face, the most ratchet of ratchets on TV, right, and then the absolute shit show our public schools have become, right, all the way up through 7 and 18 years old. That's your formative years.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, but
just
go ahead,
well,
Travis. Yeah.
well,
Well,
just to
TV
piggyback
got
on what
channels,
Wait, hold on,
man.
hold on. Let Travis. Yeah.
what my just to piggyback on what you're saying, the most you got to understand the most powerful thing on this planet. The most powerful thing on this planet is the story. It that and you the most the medium that we use to tell a story. The most powerful medium that we use is movies. All right, because it's on a grand screen and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
The
visual and
reason why
audio.
they'll make it, the reason why they'll put money behind a Craven is because it's a white guy conquering the world and stuff like that. From 2002, from Master, from Master and Commander, with what's his name?
Russell
Russell
Crowe.
Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. They'll make a Keanu Reeves, John Wick. They'll make a 300. They'll make a Superman and stuff like that because every year new kids, new young white kids are going to be born, and they're going to be inspired from that. Like I said, they'll that you understand that what you're saying. When they see that screen and they're able to vicariously live through those characters, and they see gods. And unfortunately, we don't have that.
And Travis has a point. I'm sorry to cut you off. They do. It's me and you had a conversation one time, Brian, and you dismissed my idea of the black Superman, and it's detrimental to us and it doesn't help us. But when you have white kids seeing the Supermans, the John Wicks, the white man that could kill 40 people and not get scratched, it's awe-inspiring to them. But on the other half of that coin, I remember when I first saw Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman in Civil War was his first movie as Black Panther, and when I saw that, it wasn't so much the action of it; it was the fact that they didn't have a black man being a buffoon or a secondary character. Like we all look at Finn from the Star Wars, the last Star Wars saga,
Straight buffoonery.
and see buffoonery,
Yeah.
the buffoonery of it all. Like, and when I saw Chadwick Boseman, I ran home. I had to talk to my mom, like, "Hey, Ma, they got a movie where a black man, he's not being a buffoon, he's being regal. He's holding his head high. He's not taking anything off of nobody, and he lives." He lives to carry on his story. And that's the problem I have with so much of black cinema these days. It's cut and dry. There's nothing to carry on the thought process. Like Travis just said, every year we're going to have a new whites.
I'm sorry.
Believe it or not, believe it or not.
Here you go again, Dolomite.
Believe it or not, Dolomite and movies of the like saved Hollywood.
Yeah, but look what it ruined our image at
it
the same damn time. And
you got a point.
What they're talking about. If there's nothing wrong with movies like that, but when we bottleneck, there's nothing wrong in that joke and say mumble rap. There's nothing wrong with it. The problem is there's not enough variety when it comes to black media. When you get Travis's film and you get Boys in the Hood and you get this, then there's some choice.
Yeah, but that's by design. I mean, when Rudy Ray Moore, and the blaxploitation films came out, we spend money. We go to the movie theaters, and a lot of people like our content. And then once the studios raked in that money, they curated what they were going to put out there. You follow me? And that's the same way that when hip hop first was introduced. In the late 70s and 80s, we had feel good music, we had the native tongue, and stuff like that, and then gangster came out and stuff like that, and they put a whole bunch of emphasis on that. But they curate what they're going to put out there. They're going to decide, okay, what's going to get the green light and what's not going to get the green light. I don't know how the lingo for music, but they decide what they're going to put the green light. Like I said, they're always going to put out another Bond movie. They're going to always put out another Queen Elizabethan movie. They're going to every year, because every year they understand new white.
But we can't get that. What's the guy's name? Robert Smalls. We can't get a Robert Smalls movie.
Well,
that's one of my questions, though, man. When it comes to visual media, like people around here, I could ask somebody, "Who's the local rapper around here?" And they'll tell me who it is and where I can hear him and probably where I can buy his stuff. And then I'll ask, "Who's the local filmmaker around here?" Crickets. Especially if I say, "Who's the local black filmmaker around here?"
Well, what you're saying,
and they should know,
the Robert Smalls film is being, they're raising money for it right now. Bill Dukes is slated to direct it. Michael B. Moore, who used to be the CEO of the International African American Museum, he's a part of it, because he's a descendant of Robert Small. But yeah, they're working on that. Originally, Charles Burnett was supposed to direct it, but
what's the other guy? What's the other guy's name, Uncle Dave? Eugene Bullard. He was the Black Swallow of Death.
Oh man, that would have been an awesome movie.
Because I think the other thing, Travis, is
pay to see that. Make it, please.
The other thing, Travis, is that okay? I'll go see a Robert Smalls movie. But it's probably gonna be a drama, and I don't know how much play those movies have anymore in theaters, even with black audiences. Because I remember George Lucas came out with the Redtails movie. I don't know anybody went to go see that movie. He even said he lost money on it. But even though it was, huh?
Good.
You saw it in theaters?
Yeah.
Well, there's one I know. One. But hold on, I wanted to finish. Wait. Hold on.
No, Brian. I just got a question. I just got a question. Then you continue. Who made the Nat Turner movie? What was his name?
Oh, I know you're talking about the
Nate Turner.
Nate Turner.
Yeah.
Nate Parker.
Nate Parker. Yeah. But I wanted to say though about the Eugene Bullard thing. I think one of the things black creatives have to start doing is dramas are cool, but if you want to affect the youth, we have to start taking what actually happened in history and making them into myths. Because one of my ideas for Eugene Bullard was to create a superhero based on his character, right? Where he's the Black Swallow of Death, and he has like almost like a Zorro type of Batman type of whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's based, it's based on the actual person. You know who we're talking about, right? Right, Travis or John or Caliph or Demetrius?
Yeah, I heard you talk about it.
Yeah, Eugene Bullard. I mean, the guy's stories, it's almost as amazing as Jonathan Smalls.
If somebody told you, they'd say you're they were lying.
This guy was so amazing, right? This guy, right? He's from the South in America. I think it was like someone told him about a story about, they treat black people better in France. So at a young age, I think he was like 16. He stowed away on the ship.
Yeah, he's like 14 or something like
that.
Yeah,
He was like, screw this. He stowed away on the ship. Went to France.
No, at 10 years old,
10.
He stowed above a freighter bound for Europe.
Went
10
to
years old by himself.
Went to France, right? Fought in World War I. Became a decorated pilot. Like he was like a celebrity in France. Married a countess's daughter in France, right? Became like if you see him right here, like a boxer and like a gym type of guy. He would train people. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why he left Europe is because World War II was about to get started. So you know what? He's like, I gotta leave. He goes back to America. You know what this motherfucker? You know what his options were in America? He became a bellhop. He became a bellhop, right? Now here's the other amazing thing about his story, right? And this is it right here. This is a picture of it right here, because this is him as an older man. This one right here at the bottom right. I'll zoom in a little bit if I can, right? Because I got to tell this part of the story, right? This is him as an older man. This is him with his bellhop uniform on, right? God damn it! What is this? There we go.
You gonna be all right. Man. You gonna be all right.
I think I zoomed in too much.
You gonna pray, Lord, pray for him.
Anyway. So he's operating this elevator or whatever it is in this building where they're having this show. And the show, the French president comes to this building where they're having this show to honor the supposed French hero. And they didn't realize the guy that's being honored is the freaking bellhop that's in the freaking building they're filming the show at. That's why he's wearing his uniform. Yeah.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what I mean by like we don't pass down our culture. Our culture is degraded. And I would blame a certain aspect of our culture, but I don't want Uncle David to get mad at me. I told him I would keep it, whatever. But I'll just say there are certain aspects of our culture where we don't value these type of men. So you get the Tupacs, you get the gangsters, you get the whatever, the people who always they say they have a problem with, but they're the main ones pushing them out there and watching and consuming their content and buying their crap.
But
someone like Eugene Bullard or Jonathan Smalls, where's this guy's statue at? I bet there's a statue of him in freaking France. And if there is a statue of him in America, where the hell is that? I never heard of it. You know how I heard about this man? I heard about this man from a white man on YouTube who was talking about history. That's how I heard about it.
You heard about him from me because I gave you the video of the white man talking about him in history.
Okay. That's fair. That is fair. I heard it from Uncle David first. Go ahead, Demetrius.
Look, the problem is the biggest problem I have with the whole scenario when it comes down to visual media all the way to written media. We control our own narrative. We never had. And when we do put out something, we're trying to entertain others than entertain ourselves. If we actually I always got to come back to Malcolm X. Self-love. Teaching ourselves to love ourselves.
Okay, so who has a Final Call subscription in this group?
Oh, I will never get behind Farrakhan.
I'm just saying, for example, let me rephrase that. What black media do you consume and pay for?
Do I consume and pay for? Now, let me redirect that question to you. What black media do you consume and pay for? And to further enhance that question, where is the black media that we can consume and pay for?
Travis just told us about one. The
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sorry.
The only black media I consume is all those black YouTubers.
I definitely, when Creed came out, Creed 3, and it was $30 to watch it on Amazon Prime, I paid the $30 just so he'd get the extra money. I supported Outland. If I see that film on Prime and it looks like it's going to be a good film, a black film, I won't wait till it's $5. I'll go ahead and pay. Now, if I ain't got the money, I ain't gonna pay $30. But for Creed and a couple films that you came out and it's new and you're trying to get your at-home box office sales up, I'll consume. If it's a good film,
I mean,
that's fair.
I mean, it's cool to try to put people on the spot, but I think that doesn't address the larger issue, and that's the degradation of the culture. Because I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of black media out there I just don't really care about. I don't want to watch it. I just don't want to watch it. Yeah.
Well,
what about the major films that come on like Prime? It's a great example. Do you?
You purchase it? Good example. I don't care about Creed. I don't think I've seen any of those movies. I haven't seen them. I just don't care. I care about Miles Morales, but that's more my interest. And I don't. But to be fair, Miles Morales, it wasn't black owned. Black people weren't mostly behind it. And also, ultimately, I don't think, even though it's a black male lead character, I don't think it's a black. I think it's an assimilation film. It's trying to push people together.
Well, they push it. They push it more as he might look black, but on paper, they say he's Afro-Latina.
Yeah, he's Afro-Latina. He has a white love interest.
Latino,
I don't have a problem.
Afro-Latino.
I don't have a problem with any of that stuff. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that they're pushing that because I think that's the future. I think that, and I think they know that. I think, but go ahead, Travis.
Okay. Well, I'm so sorry to cut you.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But talking about the Redtails film, the reason why I didn't do well in the office is in the office, in the theaters, because it's because of that. Because the love interest in the film was they try to make it interracial, and a lot of when I went to the theater, and this is what I heard myself from the black women who went out there that filmed, they felt they weren't represented in that movie.
Now, Uncle Dave, I did not bring it up. It wasn't me. It was not me. Okay.
Well, I'm going to say that.
We gotta be true to what goes on. Okay, there's not gonna be in the middle of France in the war zone. There's not gonna be a lot of black women.
But they had girlfriends that they left from her. I mean, it's not like they didn't. They didn't have girlfriends.
And that's the part of the story of the American black soldier going to Europe.
I understand, but they did. At least they could have balanced it with another black woman in there to balance it out. They didn't. So that's the reason why it was a miss.
Because there was no women there. There were no black women there on the Air Force base.
There are black women. There are black women everywhere.
No, not World War II. Not in Europe during World War II. Yeah.
Not where those soldiers or those airmen were. There were probably some black women waiting, on
those soldiers had. I mean, those soldiers did. Those pilots did marry black women. So where did these women come from?
America.
They didn't meet them. Some might have met after the war, but a lot of them were dating during when they were fighting.
So I'm confused. I'm confused now. So are you saying that they were depicting black men as cheaters? Is that what you're saying?
No. See, because when I sat in the theater, I took my wife, and we went to go and see Redtails because I really thought the story was going to be. And the theater was filled. It was a packed theater, and I literally heard black women say, "Wow, that's I wish they would have had us in the movie. Why didn't they
see any black men in Hidden Figures?
Why didn't make the love interest white?
See, thank you, Uncle Dave.
Where were the black men in Hidden Figures? There were black men who were doing numbers and working on the nuclear bomb and everything. You didn't see them in Hidden Figures.
I'm just saying. I'm just telling you what I heard. I'm not. I'm just telling you what I heard,
man. That's the point. They're trying to. If you're trying to shoot the whole film in region, right? There were no black women where those men were at the time.
I mean, they could have easily put
right in. They said their wives were there.
They could have easily written in a black female love interest in that film. The same way they wrote in the white one, they could have written in the black one to balance it out.
There was plenty of white women in France. There were no black women in France. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, this is cinema. This is cinema. They can go back. They can go back to the South. They can go back to the South. I mean, we're playing with cinema. If they can have these people flying in the air in World War II, they could still have this a woman writing a letter to her love interest, or him writing a letter to his, or imagining a flashback scene of him talking to his wife or his then girlfriend at the time. Mm-hmm. They could have done all that.
Why didn't they lie?
Well, I think the reason why they didn't do that is because at the time George Lucas is in an interracial relationship himself. So I just think that was the main reason why he wanted to push that, because it was something that he's actually in.
Yeah,
so
it was personal to him.
Yeah.
And
I just think it was a missed opportunity. I mean,
you want to know?
I mean, for a fight, we're talking about people being great fighter pilots.
We're talking about dollars. We're talking about dollars, and black women make up more than black men, and they wanted to support the film. Mm-hmm. They really wanted to support the film, and then after the first,
my problem with that though is black women are very hypocritical when it comes to that type of stuff, because they will give someone like Meghan Markle all this acclaim. Oh, go girl, you got yourself a prince and all that, and black men don't care. Like, okay, all right, whatever. But when black men of any kind of stature or whatever dates out or marries out, colorism, y'all don't like black women.
It's such a small part of the film.
Hold on, let Travis.
In their defense, black men date more outside of the race than the black women.
That's true. So that's but when you actually look at the percentage, when you actually look at 5, it's like a 5 or 10%.
That's not true. You look at
different.
the
wait, hold on. Wait. No, because when you no. What Uncle David is saying. True. No, Uncle David, you're getting it confused. What he's saying is right. Black men do date and marry out more, but what they never say is black men marry and date black women like in the 85-86 percentile range. So we're talking about like a small percentage of men. And then 2, when you look at the other data that you see, black women, even though they don't marry out as much more, they have like over 1 million kids that are mixed race that no one talks about. That gets thrown on black men. No one talks about these children. So what I'm saying is that when you look at how many black women have children and how many black men have children, black women are the only female demographic in the country that actually have more children than their men, right? And then when you look at the percentage of children they have that are not, full black, they're either mixed race. It's like over 1 million of them. So they may not be getting married, and they may not be dating, but they're certainly having their children. But they don't get blamed for that. You see what I'm saying? They don't get blamed for that.
Listen, I would have to look into that.
You don't have to look into. I'll pull it up right now.
The only point I was trying to make is that I just think it was a missed opportunity for Redtails. Talking about films.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm at the roll soon, so.
Hold on before you go, because this is important. No, and I've been sharing this video everywhere. It's called False Baby Daddy Narratives. he pulls it up. He pulls up the receipts. Shout out to BGS Ibmore. He's the receipts right here. We're not gonna play the whole video, but I just wanted to show the video. This is it. I think it's the what's the source? The source is like
the
here we go.
fertility
National Health Statistics Report, and he shows it. Because we always get maligned to being these baby dad. We create all these children. Well, we actually have less children. We're more married and have less children. You see what I'm saying? So it's fair to say, yeah, that black men date out more. But when you look at the percentage between black men and black women who date out more, it's not that big of a whatever. Most black men still deal. A vast majority of black men still deal or try to deal with black women. So all I'm saying is this: I get where you're coming from, Travis, because if black women go and see, if they spend more on movies, right?
That's
they could have
at
least tried to, something that represented them.
The whole thing is, we all need to be able to see that shell of those people and say, I can do that too. Black people in general can do these great things. Why? If to shrink that movie down to love interest, and I didn't see a representation of myself, well, you're not supposed to be the love interest.
He's kind of right on that. It's like, this is about these men, right?
You're supposed to be watching this movie now, saying, in modern times, what can I pull to get myself through these situations in life? Maybe I need to be a pilot, not it's that far, but watching people go through the struggle and overcome what those men went through is the main part of the movie, not who they slept with.
Yeah, but
if you're gonna reduce it to that, man, it's sad.
But to Travis's point though, and there's some pros and cons to, I think, to Travis's point. One is, okay, if black women actually are spending more money at the box office, if they wanted to make more money, maybe they could have marketed that aspect more, black love more, right? And then, but the other, I think the weaker part of that argument, though, Travis, is that when you look at media, cinema in particular, it's always catered more to black women than black men. I mean, we go all the way back to The Color Purple. It's always catered to their dysfunctions and berating black men. So I can see why black men don't go to the theater as much. I don't want to see getting berated over some stuff that I either did not do, or it's not my fault, or I had nothing to do with. It's not my fault Mr. beat his wife, which was fake, by the way. It was made up, but we all get blamed for it somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think
wait. Let me make one last point. Steven Spielberg was, I don't know if he directed, but he definitely was one of the producers for The Color Purple.
Did direct that.
Did he direct it? Right?
I think so.
What black man in the 80s or whenever that movie came out could have garnered the power and the influence of one of the most influential directors of his generation in the 80s to make a movie? You see what I'm saying?
At the time, I just wanted to throw this in.
And then when they did it, look what they did.
A book into that movie that you need to check out if you haven't already seen is Good Fences.
Yeah, I know. You talked about it. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, definitely watch that because Ernest Dickinson's.
Is that Denzel movie?
No, it's the same guy that played Mr. What's his name? Danny Glover.
Yeah, with The Color Purple, I think Good Fences is the antithesis of that film. But at the time when Color Purple was made, Spike Lee wanted to make the film. He was upset, and he went on a little short campaign pushing, saying, "Hey, y'all should have gotten a black director instead of getting a Jewish director to tell the story." But at that time, but my whole point is to you, all right, Dave. Okay, question: if it's not important, I mean, interracial. If it's not so important, if it's not important in storyline, then why do they? Then they should have Cinderella have a relationship with Tyrone. Snow White.
It's fiction.
Well, I'm saying, I agree.
But the Redtails are they're not fiction.
No, that's the whole point. I mean, even more so. But they do that with the fiction stories with the Mermaid movie. They did that with the princess, the Frog Princess. They do that with any time.
What are you saying? They take creative liberties in drama, real life stories all the time.
They always making an interracial relationship when it comes to black stories. That's the thing. But they never do it with theirs. So if it's not that important, they should do it at across the board. That's a disservice where you can have an audience where you can get the female dollar as well as the male dollar.
What we're saying though, Travis, is this, right? Black people didn't petition, or black men didn't petition George Lucas to make the Redtails movie. It was something that he wanted to do, right? And and I think you made a good point. He's in an interracial relationship right now, so maybe that was part of the reason why they decided to emphasize that more than maybe like a black on black relationship. Let me finish my point. My point is, when black women had the chance, when they had the ear of one of the most powerful, most influential directors of all time, what did they make? They didn't make a movie that celebrated positive, non-toxic black love. They made one of the most, like heinous, like just what's the word I'm looking for? It's degrading, despicable depictions.
We running out of words, yo.
You know what I'm saying? Of a black man possible. You know what I'm saying? And then to say 40 years later or however long ago, George Lucas.
And they made a remake
that a white man made, by the way, that black men do, right?
They
made a remake. They should have had they should have had more black and white. Well, where were you when you had the power? You had the power to do that. You didn't do it.
They're making a remake. They are making a remake.
Yeah, I know they're making a remake. So it's a whole new generation of black girls can say how black men ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I know they're making a remake.
I think we're gonna make a whole new generation of it. Will be like that.
Oh, the saga continues.
This car is getting repoed. I saw this. By the way, if y'all haven't been watching, I saw this video yesterday. They said like you remember they was talking about the used car market and nobody can get cars, so they all the the trade-ins or whatever, that's over. And they got so many new and used cars getting repossessed now. They said the lots are bursting with them.
Yeah.
So with that and the evictions, the way people treat each other in our community is gonna get real sweet. We're gonna need each other. And believe it or not, the way we move forward too, is really gonna have to come from some of these films. And the sad part I hate about it is we need fiction. We need more fiction with us in the future, doing things and living in that modern society, so we can get that imagery in our minds and move in the real world towards that.
That's ultimately what I think what Travis is saying though about the Redtails
not dystopia in the future. Visions. But the thing is, like I said, I've seen so much media at these comic book shows, comic books and everything there, whatever. I'm like, why has none of them taken off, at least in that local area? Or do you have your city on lock? Or you the best, you get the black people in your state buy your comic?
It's money. You could be the best comic book artist in the world. You can have great art, great story. If nobody knows about it, how are they gonna see it? It's marketing.
Well, even the comic books we've bought home, none of you guys got subscriptions to other people's comics.
Because it's hard to do subscriptions when you're an independent comic artist.
Bought any? I think you ordered one.
Yeah,
you ordered one, but even when it came to us purchasing, and the point I'm making, even the media that comes from that genre, there's something that's not happening that makes us do it because we've been exposed.
Look, I'll say this. Look, there's a couple.
Hey.
Hold on. Yeah,
No. Hold on. Listen, fellas. It's been a great discussion tonight. I wanted to share some artwork, but I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah.
Thanks
Good
for
night.
coming, man.
Good night, man.
Yeah.
Take care and have a good one.
Good night.
You too.
I think John had to bounce too. I'm sure Zoe was going crazy. But I just wanted to say this. There's a couple of and to Travis's point about like curating new talent and stuff like that, right? One of the things I noticed when we were going to conventions is black people were doing black versions of other stuff that's already come out. I'm not saying that that's not a good thing, like, because what we do is built off of what other people have done before us. But I didn't see a lot of originality. That's why I like the Tuskegee Heirs thing, because it was so. Have you ever seen that, Travis? Let me pull it up real quick. By the way, we need to do a review of this movie because this is like the third time you brought it up.
That's a good point. because we were ready to purchase that.
Yeah.
That we were ready to consume. Some stories, if they had animated this thing here, I would have bought it.
But this,
and if you did a series every second, I want to see it.
What's the guy's name? Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
But he did a little short comic series called Tuskegee.
Y'all check it out.
Tuskegee Heirs, right? And it's more of a it's like the ancestors. I believe, because I don't actually own one of the comics, but I own some of his artwork, but I don't own one of the comics. But I believe it's the ancestor of the Tuskegee Airmen, but it has more of an anime mecha type of feel to it. So it's a modern take, drawing from my history, kind of like I was saying I wanted to make a superhero version of that Eugene Bullard guy. Like he did it with Tuskegee Heirs. And I think this is a way for us to keep our culture going, because now when kids see it, this is the first thing. If they ever made an animation of this, when the black kids see it, oh wow, this looks cool. It has people that look like me in it. You know what I'm saying? And now they'll go back and look and learn about the actual Tuskegee Airmen. You know, without it being some boring drama or whatever that they got to like slog through or whatever. But I haven't heard anything about this as far as it being produced. I know they worked on like a little animated teaser, but I haven't heard anything. Maybe it's in the works. I don't know. But it's been a while. It's been a while.
Like 3-4 years. And this should have taken off. This, I mean, if you're in Atlanta, all those black people, and these guys are there, and people saw this, man, I'm like,
it's
just by word of mouth,
Uncle
man.
Dave, I'm telling you, Uncle Dave, tell you, it's marketing and money. Marketing and money.
We weren't even sharing these guys, man.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you right now. Look, you said the same thing. Look, I don't know how many issues he has, but let's say he was able to do 3 issues. He's one person. You know how many animators were on Across the Spider-Verse? It's like 300 animators. That's money. That's money. You see what I'm saying?
Man.
That's it. It looks amazing. This stuff looks amazing. I'm pretty sure.
That movie too. You forgot about that.
I'm pretty sure it took him 5 years. The story, I'm pretty sure his story is cool. I haven't read it, so I don't know how well it is.
And young black kids don't like to read, I don't think either.
The point,
that's another thing. They want to see it animated.
The larger point, though, I'm trying to make, though, is that the concept is great, but nobody knows about it. Nobody knows about it because that's money. That's getting it in front of people. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's there. Those ideas are there. A lot of it I saw just wasn't that original. You know, when I went to the conventions, they just weren't that interesting. So, you know, you're gonna get some people, but this right here, when I saw it, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing. It's a good concept. I think it appealed to more than just black people, especially if it's done really well, and it's already drawn and illustrated really well. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that's part of it. But we're gonna move on, guys. We got one more trailer to watch.
Oh, it's about time to shut this thing down.
This podcast?
No, because we've already gone too long. We'll do that later. But Travis, I would like to do a review of this movie because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
You let me know when a good week.
Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Yeah. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. I'm so sorry, but
I know you got to go.
My little one. Yeah, my little one.
Yeah, you good,
man.
But okay. Coming out, man.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I catch you later, man.
One more time, y'all. Check out American Street.
American Street, yeah. Oh, Whoopi Goldberg is in this too. I didn't know that. But you guys want to do this last trailer?
Well, let's save it to next week.
It's the Golem trailer.
I'll save it to next week.
All right, we'll end it here. So,
they give us something for next week to review.
Huh? You said hold on, Carbon.
Oh, he's got some art.
Carbon, what are we holding on for? Okay. Well, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it here. All right. So, good night, everybody.
Lucent Studios.